Let's bring in James Dorsey, who's a Middle East analyst and senior fellow at Singapore's S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies. James, welcome. So, can a ceasefire really be called a ceasefire when civilians, including children, continue to be killed by military means?
Well, I think what we're seeing basically is that both Israel and Hamas see the ceasefire as a way to further improve their situations and achieve their goals. That is not to say that there are not serious violations of the ceasefire, particularly by Israel. You see far more Israeli attacks on Palestinian civilians, alleged Hamas operatives, and far less Hamas attacks on Israeli troops. Now, obviously, Hamas's military capabilities have been severely decimated in this 2 years of war. But in a normal situation in which you had a ceasefire, if Israel sees a threat or a violation, it would be going to the U.S.-run deconfliction center that was established in Israel. It doesn't do so. It acts unilaterally.
James, talking about the second phase of the ceasefire, I mean, where are things at with that, particularly around the International Stabilization Force that is tasked with disarming Hamas?
Obviously, U.S. President Trump will tell you something different, but in my mind, the process is stalled. You have a situation in which Gaza effectively already has been divided into two sectors, a sector that is controlled by Hamas and a sector that is controlled by the Israelis. U.S. policy at this point is to improve the situation for Palestinians in the Israeli-controlled sector. In fact, persuade Palestinians who are under Hamas control to move to the Israeli sector. In that constellation, it's hard to see how many of the countries that are being envisioned as members of the International Stabilization Force will want to be the enforcers of a policy that divides Gaza, keeps the Israelis present in the Strip, rather than allows for Palestinian control of the area and a full Israeli withdrawal.
How much confidence then do you have about this second phase progressing, particularly as we see, we've been seeing B-roll, as you've been speaking of, the yellow line, which has actually looking like it's becoming more of a permanent situation, and there have been violations of the ceasefire in areas which are meant to be safe zones for civilians?
I'd like to have more confidence than I have in it. At this point, I'm very skeptical. I just simply don't see how countries like Egypt, Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, or Saudi Arabia would want to contribute troops on the ground where you don't have an agreement on disarmament of Hamas. You don't have an agreement on what the mandate precisely is, even though we now have a United Nations Security Council resolution that anchors the force in international law. And that is not about all of Gaza, rather than only part of Gaza. So it's very hard to see how that's going to happen in practice.
James Dorsey, thanks so much for your time. Middle East analyst live with us there.
My pleasure. Thank you.